Go me. Everybody hear me? Does this need to be higher so you don't hear the nervousness in my voice more clearly?
It's up to you.
Thanks, Seth. I've read this one before, and I figure I should, since I'm the fiction out of the Vortex, I should read a fiction piece so that you all can see how much a fraud I am, I guess. But I've read this one before, and I guess a lot of people have heard it, so I guess I'll just explain where this came from. It's called Surfaces, and it was actually started as a joke because I was talking to my friend, and being my usual neurotic self, denigrating my own abilities, and they said, you're just being silly. You could probably make an effective story about an old man dying over he shits on the toilet. And I said, that's actually a really good idea. So, this is called Surfaces. His desiccated skin kisses the seat's porcelain lips. His form is crumpled. His head slopes down below his knees and his horny feet rest flat on linoleum. As a child, he maintained a similar position while dangling his legs over the edge of a pier on Lake Washita. His breathing then was labored and the arc of his back heaved. He watched silver flashes of little fish as they nibbled on algae which accumulated in a snotty film around the pier's wooden supports. The mound of his back now does not heave. The protuberances of his vertebrae bisect his torso with a dashed line and raise a sort of necropolis upon him. Just outside the door on the concrete entranceway, there is an injured cricket. One of the bowed legs of the insect is twitching rhythmically as though it wished to continue singing. Tiny black carpenter ants crawl upon him and invade his throat. An hour earlier, a young neighbor of the man on the toilet was passing and smoking a cigarette and noticed the cricket. He knelt over it and watched the ants as they engaged in their slow work. He considered them. They were like chocolate sprinkles upon ice cream. A crow swooped low over the parking lot a couple of dozen feet away. It landed expertly upon a fence plank. The maneuver was swiftly and perfectly executed. The maneuver was beautiful. It was as though such flight and freedom, such a perfect skimming arc on untarnished, glossy black wings was built into the fabric of the atmosphere. The crow shat immediately afterwards. It expelled a small glob of white from its cloaca and took to the air again. All of these things occur in and around an apartment building that belongs to a larger fenced complex with 10 buildings which harbor 12 apartments each. This housing, for many in the city, is attractively affordable. There are several old residents. The man on the toilet possessed just the perfect ratios of light dementia, life savings, and relationships to come to the point he finds himself. Next door to the complex is unattractively beige strip mall development full of failing, ill-conceived businesses and strip storefronts. There are 4 churches in this development. Some in the small, quaint city refer to the apartment complex as among the city's ghettos, though of course such a designation is objectively preposterous in light of certain neighborhoods in major metropolitan areas and the shanty towns in many countries. The police do regularly drive to the complex. In the building which the cricket is dying in front of are currently 5 varieties of illegal drug, counting legally obtained prescription drugs intended for abuse. The most serious of these drugs is a long-forgotten, well-hidden baggie of crystal meth. The total would be 6 if the young neighbor hadn't smoked his dose of DMT the night before. He felt true for 15 minutes. We are in Arkansas. If the man on the toilet were still able, he would reminisce. He would remember Lake Washita. In his childhood, he and his father used to travel the new lake in a small fishing boat. When the sun would begin its retreat down below the distant green-topped mountains, the surface of the lake would become vibrant with brief blinks of gold. It was an image for him more than the Great Wall or the pyramids or even the Statue of Liberty. For his young neighbor, that water would later shine precisely the same way. 1958 and 1997 are the years that they both wish had been forever, but the lake still shimmers with every sunset. Right now, however, the man is on the toilet. It will be days still before the smell is noticeable enough to be reported by his young neighbor, who is at this moment reading away lingering images of the cricket. The old man's last movement taints the plane of the water below him, and among it there are many simpleton prokaryotes that blissfully swim. Yet thousands more similar microbes already have begun to consume him from the inside. He is an environment. He is a world. Thank you.